reducing it by one or adding one, you can get a sensitive information of an individual or maybe an item. So that was what our challenge was about. And after getting the idol, we had a sensitive info, which is the email. And we thought of how we can take over the email. Here is the ATO. This stands for account takeover. And through the account takeover, we had a like a file upload which takes any extension, including JPEG, PNG, docs, and APC. And through that, we're able to upload the file from the actual storage point to a different storage point. So I'll begin my demo, and this is my explanation for the map. So let me start with the demo.
Please, can you look at your background a little? I don't know if there's some noise from your background. You might be distracting a little.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If it's not something you can take care of, then that's fine. Let's just manage it.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
And so before we had, after we getting the IP, we did an nmap scan. And here is it, nmap. It was an nmap scan. And I stored it into section.txt. And I had an open port, SSH 22. We had 80. They had port 1080, that's also an SSH port. And we have 2000, 5060 had 8000. That's all. And for the port 8000 after scanning, without visiting the port 8000, we had our first flag, which is BTSCTF, and with the random numbers with alphabet. This is our first flag. So now let's visit the port 8000. So so here is the flag. And this flag, we first had it in our nmap scan. So now let's move on to the directory root force. So for me, I use the directory root force to find for the subdirectories or directories. This will take like some minutes before it gets. So from my map, we had sign up, login, and forget password. So let's try to visit the sign up. After that, we just check whether we've gotten any directories. So sign up. And we have username, email, password and confirm password. So I just entered admin1.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Yes, sir. Please, I want to ask you, where do you get key before entering the classroom? Is that? Yes, get out. I should love, I want to love.
Oh, okay, let me use a different browser for that.
Yes, I'm waiting for you. I don't have
Them say Tio wife now. Ni
Right. It's just I'm having a problem with it. So first I created an account, so let me use that login for that. Log admin1. So from here, so from here we had
Yeah, so I just wanted, alright, so I just wanted to clear the air for those who just joined. So I during the week I placed this challenge in the group where you had to gain user privileges on the box and then finally wrote it. So um, learning over here is solving the box and then showing us how he went about it. So we first started with our nmap scan. If you were not here, we started with our nmap scan. We were able to discover some open ports. We discovered port 8000 Now, upon visiting port 8000, we were able to uncover our first flag. All right. So, browsing through the application on port 8000, we came across a login page and then a sign up page. So, where we currently are, we just signed up for the application and then we have logged into the application. Now we are browsing through the application and seeing what we can find or what exactly we can abuse in the application. All right. So, heavy goes over to you.
It looks like he's not here. I think he dropped off the call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. We can hear you.
After we logging into the account, like logging in, we had dashboard, we had form elements, chat table, icons, and settings. So now let's start visiting the the form element and the rest. So form elements, we had page, page and forms. So browsing through, first we have the upload. So I tried uploading something there, nothing came out of it. And these two, I did some SST. I had nothing, and I went on to the chat to see if I'll get something out of there. So nothing. Tables, same. Icons, yeah, had nothing. And settings. So for the settings, for
No, Lennon, it seems like your screen is frozen. We can only see your terminal.
okay,
Uh,
hello.
yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. You can proceed.
Hello. My camp.
I said we can hear you, but there's some kind of
Okay.
noise in my background, so I don't know if I'm the only one hearing it. Okay.
So let me start from visiting the dashboard. So from the dashboard, we had from the URL we had okay the IP port 80. The IP port 80 dashboard. Let's visit send elements. Send elements. First we had this. And after uploading a file, I had nothing out of it. Then went to chat. Likewise, I had nothing out of it. Tables, same. Icons, same. And I went to settings. And from our URL, we can see one. That means we can, this we had the idle vulnerability, the indirect object reference. So I tried changing it by manipulating it by adding one or reducing it by one. So I
That's all.
said, hello.
I think we have some beginners among. Can you explain the idol so that we can all be on the same page or understand better what you're talking about? Because you just mentioned the vulnerability and we don't really know what it means.
All right.
That will be helpful. Thank you.
So we had a vulnerability idol which led us to into account takeover. And an idol is a vulnerability that allows an attacker to maliciously interact with the web application by manipulating a direct object reference. So this means, from this example, from the example, we have the insecurewebsite.com customer account, customer number. So customer number equals 132,355. So if maybe you have a details of someone, maybe you have your own details for customer number 132,355, and maybe you want to view another customer who is having the same numbers there. For the last number is for maybe his or her last number is 4. And after sending the request, you get some small details about the customer. And sometimes it applies to the e-commerce site. Most of maybe you'll be viewing a product and the product number is maybe 1. After changing the 1 to 2, you get a different product. That one is a kind of idle, but doesn't reveal any sensitive or like any critical information about a user. But for our challenge, we had one that was the details of us. So we tried manipulating to get maybe an admin password or username, or maybe any like credentials or any sensitive information. And the sensitive information can be maybe email, his maybe bank details, his maybe password and other stuff. So that's the idol. So from here, at first it was 1, so I changed it to 2. And I had this BTS as the username and Nathaniel Mensa. So nothing again. So let's change it to 3. 3, I had this, the mail. So these are kind of sensitive information about the user 3. So later I came to 0. And most developers, when they are assigning numbers to maybe the admin, they use 1 or 2, or sometimes some like developers assign 0 to the admin. So we had 0. Then we had maximum, and we had from the mail, you saw that the person is an admin. And for the passwords, we had nothing. But from the confirmed password, we had this. So I inspected it, inspect this right here to get the flag. So I just copied the flag and I submitted it. And from here, I also had a file upload. So I tried uploading a file, but from what I had, okay, let me try uploading a file. Only admin can perform such action. And you just saw that we have maxam.admin@bts.com. So now, what can we do with this email? And from our directory search, we had forget password. So for now, let's try to maybe reset but first, for me, I registered the account with my own, like my personal email, because I wanted to know how like how to reset the password, how the, I wanted to know the behavior of the website first. So I logged out and I signed up and okay, let me try using this. Okay, let me use temp mail. So let me use a temp rumble for that. So, okay, let me try to open up my hold on.
Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you.
Okay, so we found a port. We had found an application running on port 8000. We decided to visit the application because we realized that it was an HTTP server. So after visiting the application from our browser, we realized that there is an application running, right? So doing our basic enumeration, we were able to find a login and then a sign up. So we did a sign up and then we logged in. Now, after on logging in, we were presented with this dashboard. Now, normally, as a penetration tester, you would actually have to test the app thoroughly to see how the application works before you even start looking for vulnerabilities. So what we did was to browse to the app and then we went to the settings page. Now, upon reaching a certain page, you realize that the settings page displays some information about the user or the current user using the application, and the settings page is to be able to change the username and certain other other items or about that particular user. So now thinking about it, like how can we abuse a feature like this? We look at the URL and we realize that there's actually a number in the URL. Now, when this happens, normally what web developers like to do is that they would use that number to query information from the database, and then it will be displayed, and that would actually show the details of the user. Now, the vulnerability lies in the fact that no proper authorization is done. You understand? So, if you should change the parameter to any other number, like 2 or 3, because depending on how things are stored in the database, you change the number to maybe 2 or 3, it would query another user's information and then it will present it to you. So what we did was we changed the number to see if we can get information on other users. Now, as Lennon was saying, normally when web developers are building the app, the first thing or the first entry in the database is normally the admin's entry. So to be able to get information about the admin, we can use the zero number, and then using that vulnerability, that the idle vulnerability we had, we can query information about that particular user. So that's where we currently are. So we queried some information about the admin, and then we found the admin's email. Now, before we even got to the dashboard, we realized that the application offers a forgot password feature. So we want to grab the admin's email and see what we can do with that forgot password feature. I think there's a slight problem with the web application because the VPS I'm using has the storage is getting full. That is why he cannot sign up. But let me just attend to that quickly, and then we can proceed.
All right.
As we wait for
Oh.
Matan to make the problem, will it be okay with you to give us a high level of what will be happening to the end till we root the box so that we could get a conversation going?
No, all right.
Then, so, thank you.
So,
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Good evening.
mm,
So I want to chip in something. As we are looking at the vulnerabilities and explaining the vulnerabilities, explaining how to identify them, explaining how to exploit them, let's also touch on remediations. How can you remediate these vulnerabilities? Because trust me, when you are doing a pen test project and you are writing your report, you add recommendations. Now also when you are looking even beyond penetration testing gigs, and then you are going for interviews for roles like pen test, application security, and all that. After knowing the vulnerability, you should know how to mitigate it. How is it remediated? How can you mitigate it? So idle vulnerability. You know what idle vulnerability is. You know how to exploit it. You know how to test for the vulnerability. Let's also look at how can you remediate it. What are the things that you can do to remediate these vulnerabilities?
Yeah,
That the learning curve or the learning becomes complete. So when the vulnerability is identified, we can discuss ways and means to how we can mitigate or remediate these vulnerabilities. Thank you.
yeah, okay. So let me start from here. So after we gotten into our the settings and from our settings, here's the settings. From our settings, we had the username. I used admin1. And for my email, I used test2@test.com. Password, there was like, they didn't specify the password. And I started by, I had this one, and I, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on. So I started by adding one or reducing it by one. So I did two. And I had a different username, a different email. And this is kind of a sensitive info. Someone can just use this to take over their account. So I changed it to 3 to see whether I'll get maybe some admin credentials or maybe some admin, like some sensitive information about the admin. So 3. I had this username. Then I had the email. And I did 4. So I have PDF and this. So I remembered most of the developers assign 1 or 0 to their admins. So I tried by changing the number to 0. 0, I had the username, which is Maxam, and email address, which is maxam.admin. And from the email, you can see that, maxam.admin might be the admin's email address. And from me, I think you should explain how to like protect our maybe website from this kind of vulnerabilities. And one, by implementing strong authentication mechanisms, and two, maybe some like authentication mechanisms, like maybe for some of the developers, they do proper sanitization maybe behind their sites, or like let me put it that way. So maybe if you are not authorized to view maybe a certain number, so like if you are not authorized to use, maybe you're authorized to use only one. That's for my account. It's assigned with one. Some developers do some sanitization for you, or like some authorization for you not to be able to go to like, I won't get any info about this. Sometimes you just you change from 1 to 2 and you get 403 not authorized. They can implement that, or maybe they can just hash the user ID. Maybe they'll use maybe some MD5, maybe the 64, which maybe it will take a long time for you to decode or decrypt. That's what I suggest. Or maybe they should implement some session management. Maybe for them to assign one or a number to an individual, they should use like a session cookie to do that. And some of the session cookie can be JWT and other stuff. And for JWT, we have like, you all know that before you can decrypt that, or you can just, before you can manipulate that, you have to get the secret key to sign it. So that's what I think we can use to prevent those kind of IDOS and other stuff. And for the file upload, it takes like different kind of extensions. So they should just specify maybe this file upload should take maybe PNG, or maybe only maybe JPEG, or maybe .txt. That one can solve that problem for the file upload. That's what I can say. Maxam.
I think there is a hand raised up.
Okay. Mr. Eric.
Mr. Soa, go ahead.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the IDOF vulnerability
Okay.
and the remediation. So with IDOF vulnerability, the best remediation you can give, or the best thing that a software developer can do to remediate this kind of idle vulnerability is that so you see clearly that in the application, in the GET request on the URL, the reference is being done on the ID number. So the ID one is, when you look at the database table, the ID one is for this person, ID two is for this person, ID zero is for this person, and that is how come an attacker will be able to manipulate and then pick IDs and then or guess IDs and then put in there to fetch for user information. So the best thing that most or the best thing can do, instead of using IDs in the GET request, you rather use randomly generated numbers. So longer characters, but randomly generated. Then you add it to the database. Then when you are calling in the GET URL, you use those kind of randomly generated numbers that nobody can guess. You can't guess. You can't even get an algorithm to guess. So you will not be able to guess and know who is the next user or what the next user's ID is or what have you. Instead of using an ID in the GET URL, you rather use the randomly generated numbers that you have attached on the database on the table. Then you use those, so you can use something. So most of the times you see in an application the GET URL in the URL where ID is equal to, then you see something like 1001 dash 4545 dash 7879 dash dash, and then that is the number that is being used to query for the data that you are looking for. Those are random generated numbers, and nobody can do it together for you to even know the next number for you to get an idle vulnerability. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suwa. So, since our problem is now fixed with the signing up, so I signed up, and for now I use like a temp email for that, and I specify like I provide my password and confirm my password. So let's do forget password with our temporal mail. Now let's turn on our dep to intercept the request. So email submit, and we have our post request, which means we are like posting something onto the server. So now let me send this to repeater. I'll turn on the intercept. Check your email for a reset link. So now let's check email to get. We have our. We have this http ip.port password reset token equals this. So now I've already sent my request to the repeater. For now, let's try to manipulate whether we get something out of it. First, I did this. Now we got something reset password pollution, like the parameter pollution rather. So I did this. Email equals maybe Neku. And I sent it. And I went to my mail to check whether I'll get any maybe resets password. From there, I had nothing. So that means the parameter poisoning or parameter pollution didn't work. And I read a blog post on reset poisoning, and the person started with adding a full stop to this. Yeah, the person added full stop to this. And for here, we are having 403 forbidden. The first time I did it, they sent me a message. So let me check whether I'll get any email.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to explain the vulnerability we are trying to exploit briefly. So, I believe all of you have visited websites before and used the forgot password feature before. So, what happens when the forgot password? When you click on forgot password, is that a link is normally sent to your email, and in that link there is a token that you can use to reset the password. So what is happening over here is that the link is sent to the user's email. So first of all, we try to test the application by entering our mail to look at how the link is being crafted. So there is a vulnerability called the host header injection, where the developer picks the host or the domain name from the request that has been sent to the server. You understand? Now, when we intercept the request with BEP and you look at the HTTP headers, you realize that we have various HTTP headers there. We have one header that is called the host header. Now, this is where the developer picks the domain from to craft the password link. You understand? So what he's currently trying to do over here is to test the application and see how the link looks and whether he can or change that particular input for the link, for that particular part of the link.
All right. So I did this. Maxam,
Hello.
it's not working now because I'm getting 403 forbidden.
Forbidden. I think there's a dot at there's a dot at the end of your host header. Maybe that could be the issue.
Yeah, for this I did this and I had the email. So like I'm trying to manipulate the host header. I'm trying to add some characters to a header. It will still send.
Okay.
Okay, let me try this first.
All right.
Okay. So now, so I did before. Okay. That's not. So for here, I changed the host, like the IP with the port 8000. I changed it to evo.com to see whether maybe they will send me like a reset link, a reset password link. So let me check this. Nah.
I think it will be the first one.
So for here, you see that http evo.com password reset. So let's try to reset this. Okay, it's not working because of some restrictions on the Wi-Fi I'm using. So first, let's try. I'll use two methods. I'll use the web collaborator with the ngrok. So after changing the host header, it sent me an email to my personal mail. So for now, let me try changing it with my. I'll host a server, HTTP server. So HTTP server port 80, and I'll use ngrok in addition with this HTTP server. HTTP port.
All right, so right now we've been able to change the host header, and then right now we know that we can manipulate the host header, right? Now you realize that there is a token that is being used to reset the password. Yeah, that token is actually what gives us like permission to be able to reset the person's password, right? So what we can do is that we can find a way of getting that token. So let's say I request a password reset for the admin, and I want a way to be able to get the admin's token or that token, that password reset token for the admin. So what we can do is that we change the host header to a domain that we control, like a server that we control, so that when the link is being clicked on, the request it makes a request to our domain, and then we get that particular HTTP parameter, and then we get a token. So now that we have the token, we can use that token to what reset the password of that particular user. All right. So I think we can proceed.
Okay, let me try using this and see whether I'll get it.
I think your NG Rock is listening on port 4040 or I don't mean I'm gonna say. Okay, I think that's the problem.
No, okay. It's not working. So let me try using the collaborator later. I'll try to escape.
I think the problem is that you haven't clicked the link yet. Now, depending on the mailing solution you are using, it's like some mailing solutions will automatically try to like access the link and see if it is a malicious link. Yeah, but in some cases, some mailing links or some mailing platforms, you actually have to open the mail and click on it. So, okay, you can proceed.
Okay. So we have this. Let me check. We have an error. All right. But from our mail, we just saw that anytime we just change the host header with the ngrok, after forwarding it, we always get a mail. So now let's try changing this to the admin symbol, and that was mark sam.admin at bts.com. So now let's send it. Then you have this get, and it's making a get request, password reset token, blah 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 for this. So now let's copy this. Let's copy the get. Let's add it to this to see what will happen. So this token is assigned to Maxam. Maxam's the admin email. So maybe from the server, it knows, oh, Maxam is the admin, and he's trying to request for a reset password. So let me assign this token to the mail or the user for him or for her to be able to change his or her password. So now we've gotten the token for the mail and also the user as Maxam. So now let's try to change the password. So let me type in the password. Tablet. Now for now, let's try to log in as Maxam. Username Maxam and password. So that means our password reset for the admin was possible. That means if taking over the admin's account, that vulnerability can be maybe idle, which leads to account takeover. And we had from the settings, we had the file upload, and in our normal user, we try uploading the file, and they said only admin can upload the file. So for now, let's try to see whether we can upload the file. So browse. So browse. Now let's try to upload the picture to see what will happen. Because setting up a profile picture always need, like, if you want to set up a profile picture, you upload a picture. File upload successful. So now let's try to view the picture we uploaded. And we have this. So from here, I did a lot by like embedding Python, like I was embedding Python scripts into the picture to get maybe some web shell or some shell in my terminal. I did PHP, it didn't work. I did a lot. I even searched for PNG, like web shell. I did everything. It didn't work. Then I noticed something. I uploaded a .txt file. Let's intercept the request and see something. Select. Now, let's send this to Peter and forward this. And it popped up file upload successful, which means it even takes .txt file and even PNG and JPEG formats. The extension for the file, it takes everything. So this was where I started manipulating I started manipulating the request to see whether I'll get maybe something juicy from this request, maybe by uploading a Python script to maybe execute on the server to get maybe some shell. And I did a lot, but nothing worked. And from our first time visiting the site, we had this hello Jeff here. This site is still under development, and therefore I am the only one with SSH access, and the flag comes. So what I thought of was SSH. So I used Jeff. First I did Jeff. I did SSH. Jeff. Out. And I hit enter. Permission denied, public key. And I did it with the normal default port because we are having two SSH. We have the port 22, we have the 1080. So I later tried the 1080 or 1080. Okay, Jeff, enter password. I did Jeff. Ask the password. And now, permission denied. Please try again. And like spending 5 hours or even more than 5 hours on this machine, it came in mind to try by generating a public and a private key. So I did and I generated SSH. Okay, let me check the history first. It's not I've forgotten the command I used. So first I generated a SSH key, like SSH public key and a private key. So I ran this command. SSH key this. So by default, it's assigning this name to your private and public key. So just hit enter. Okay, why overwrite this low passphrase? So just hit enter. So after that, I had this and that. So there's my public key, and there's my private key. So later, I changed, like, I copied this to this. So it's like I'm creating, like I'm duplicating this. What in this to this authorized keys. So now let's cut this. Let's cut authorized keys and see what's in it. Then let's cut this too.
I think Maxim wants to say something.
Okay. Maxim. Maxim. Maxim.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is that, like, with the file upload feature, the vulnerability or the main idea was that the vulnerability lies in the file name. You understand? So what's happening here is that the developer is picking the file name and then using that to write to the file system. Can you hear me? So the file name, the developer is picking the file name directly and using it to write to the file system. So the user is not doing any input sanitization when it comes to the file name. So what we can do is that we can change it to a file path, you understand, and then we can write to somewhere on the file system. Now, when we did the initial enumeration of the box, we realized that Jeff is the one that has SSH access to the box. And then when you look or when you do a little research about SSH, you realize that there is something called the public key and the private key. It actually boils down to asymmetric encryption. Now, the public and the private key are like pairs, you understand? They work together. So, for example, one way of authenticating to a server is to keep the public key on the server and then the client keeps the private key. So anytime you try to authenticate to the server, it will do the comparison and see is the public key a perfect match with the private key. If it's a perfect match, then it authenticates the user. So over here, what we are trying to do is that we have right access to, like we have the opportunity or we have the privileges to write to the file system on that particular box. So what we want to do is that we want to generate our own private and public key. Then we drop our public key on the server. Then we use our private key to authenticate to the server and see whether we able to what connect to that SSH server. So you can proceed from here.
Oh, okay, thank you, Maxam.
Okay.
So we have the authorized key and the public key. And so I was trying to make a duplicate of the public key by naming it as authorized key. So I copied my authorized key. And here, from here, we have file name as user.txt, so I change to authorized keys. And the contents, I brought this. And I tried to upload it. We have 302 found as the status code. So now I went to refresh. So I refresh the page to see whether I'll get something. Okay, now. And it downloaded my authorized key. So from here, what can I do again? I try logging in with, I try SSH-I, and I specify my private key. Jeff as the username against the IP and the ports. And nothing happened. It still asked me for a password. They didn't set any password. So I typed enter and said, permission denied. Please try again. So, what again can we do with this vulnerability? So I try adding // which means it will skip by bringing the like /. The it will skip here and we get here. So the file, we aren't uploading the file into the profile again, but we're uploading the file into the dashboard. It will be kind of this, maybe this is our file name. So we'll be static dashboard, HHTV, blah, blah, blah. But at first, we're uploading it into the profile. So bringing the it will skip this and I'll upload into the dashboard. And which we mostly term as like change of storage location. So we are trying to change where the file is stored into a different location. When I did it, and now let me refresh whether we have that. So let me paste this here. So for now, we skip the profile, and now the authorized key is in the dashboard. So I tried again to log in. Still, it's asking for password. So what can we do again? I did this. So now let me refresh. Okay, let me refresh. Give me that test. So now it skipped the profile dashboard and now it's in static. So now let's try to see whether we can log in. Still asking for password. Let's go. I did it 3. I uploaded. Refresh. So now we have this. So it's kind of somehow in the server like, For me, at first I thought it was in, like maybe it's gotten to where I can access the SSH using my private key, and so it was asking for a password. So something came in mind. If we have, let me see CD to VAR CDW So something came in mind. You have the var and have the www and have the HTML. That means after the HTML, I'll get something like index.html. So that means after this, we get the static, we get the dashboard, and we get the profile before the image. So now, how are we going to skip all this? So we skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I tried that 7. So now we're already having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and upload internal server error, which means we are unable to upload it. That means it's not getting to the right place we want to upload. And later I did something like if pass.wd. How can we skip all this to get to maybe the CD path? CD wd. So like whom? How can we skip to get maybe like to the user or to the home? At first we have 7, so 8, 9. After skipping this, we get something like, let's say, something like this. Okay, so we have to skip this and skip that. So we have, at first we have 7, so let's add 2 to it, or 3, and upload the store internal server error. And something came in mind. After doing the PD, I had home with my username. And you all know that they said the one with the key to SSH is Jeff. So I did this this. I started from here. And I did Jeff. And where did I generated my, where did I generate my SSH public key and please, I'm not talking about you, Jeff. Whom, Jeff, and where did I generated my SSH key? So let me see. SSH. So I added this slash dot SSH and I uploaded. So internal server error, and I sat down for some time. Like for this, I even spent like more than an hour on this. So I tried changing this to here. To here. Let me add it here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Before I successfully uploaded the file, but from other sources they said if you don't know where to upload it, you can just add one more than maybe like 20. They start by like send. So for you won't know where it had like it got to. Just that it just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So skipping 1, 2, 3. When they get to the home and get to maybe like the home, it won't skip to like to any other place. It will just be there and it will start reading from the home, Jeff.ssh and authorized keys. And the authorized keys, you already have an authorized key, or maybe you don't have any authorized key in there, or like on the server. That's having the SSH. Maybe we have the authorized keys. The authorized keys, by uploading this authorized key, it will overwrite the authorized key in the SSH on the server. So this one, after uploading this, we will overwrite the SSH key in the server or on the server. So now let's try to upload, let's try to SSH -I with our private key to see whether we get access to the server. We have our SSH, our private key. We generated our own private key and we uploaded the public key onto the server. And now when we are trying to log in, the public key will check whether it's having the actual private key for its public key. So when we generated, okay, let me cut it first. So ls. After generating, we generated this and generated that. This is our public key. And I made a duplicate of the public key to authorized keys and uploaded the authorized keys. That means you have also uploaded the public key onto the server. So for now, if you want to log onto the machine, we have to use our private key. We have this private key. So I'll do let me SSH help. So let's find where the -I is. So the I means identify file. So we are trying to log in using our private key to make it assign like make it align with our public key because we already uploaded the public key onto the server. So we just do SSH. The file you want to like run against the Jeff blah 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 to align with the public key. So the ID and also ED blah blah blah. And Jeff, you provide your username Jeff at the IP and the port. We are using the port 22. We are using the port 1080. So after hitting enter, to restore this content, you can run the blah blah blah. Last log that was today. So after seeing this sign, you know that you are in the server. So let's do ls, our normal Kali command to ls. We have greetings, linkings.sh and user. So now let's try to get that. Let's try to output what's in the user.txt. So we'll use cat user.txt. We have our user flag. So it's left with the root. I did sudo -l. Do the directory SUID and I said sudo not found. And I saw linkings here and I tried to run linkings. First I changed the permission. Linkings. Permission change for it to be executable. So I just did this. And advisory from the linkings. This script should be used for authorized penetration testing or educational reports only. Any misuse of this software will not be the responsibility of the author or of any other collaborator. Use it as your own. Use it as your own computer. You focus our main focus is on this. The red, yellow, and red. So browsing through, we have red. No network discovery capabilities. Everything is pink. So when I was reading through, I had a lot of red, and some of them I ignored them. And one of them, one was red yellow, which I saw first, and I just maybe there's nothing. Let me focus on the red. After scanning through, so let's check here. User with console, they have GFM. All users and groups, they have the UID, root, we have this, we have this, we have Jeff, we have black this, we have SSH, we have proxy, we have bin, and other stuff. And analyzing SSH files, we have the Jeff IDRSA file, and the authorized the like this. Okay, this is not okay. The public we uploaded. Here is it. We have this. We have this. We have this. This was outside. Like this was found in the dashboard. We have the profile. So when we were uploading, some of the authorized keys was stored in the profile, the dashboard, the static, and came here. And after that, we find our way of uploading into the SSH file by bringing the dot slash dot slash dot 10 times before we were able to upload into the SSH file. So I was still scanning through. I was just checking through. I first saw this, but I ignored it. The files with interesting permissions. I saw this and I ignored it because I said, oh, nothing good will come out of this. But not knowing this was what you used to read the root/root.txt. So I ignored it and I spent over 26 minutes on that. I had nothing out of it. And I did cd/tmp. And I did ls. And I saw suid. And I did, let me output what's in the suid. So this selection and I cut. Then I cut, okay. suid. We have roots. They're all running in root. Root. This changes this. So I went to JTF opens to check for this suid so that I'll get maybe something out of it. So I went to JTF open. JTF opens is like it contains binaries. So the amount, blah blah pass, SSSU, that is switch user we have. They are all binary. So I started searching for. I started from this. So this SSH key sign. So get nothing out of that. So I started with the mount. I just searching for mount. Whether I'll get maybe some SUID binary from that. So like some maybe some commands or maybe some script from that. So I just did search for this mount. It's only having sudo. We are not looking for sudo, we are just focusing on the suid. So I search for this, search for that. Let me search for this. I search for this. Nothing. I came to the pass. Nothing. And when I got to this, I was like, oh, this one I just ignored it. So nothing will come out of that. Not knowing I had the binary and I went to SUID. After reading, if the binary has a SUID date set, it does not drop the evaluated privileges and may be abused to access the file system. Escalate or maintain privilege access as the SUID backdoor. If blah 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 run this, and I came here, and the MAWK is used for reading files. So that's why you have file to read. You have the file to read here. File to read. So I just copied this. And I pasted it. First. Okay. Let me start from here. So I did this. I did this root slash root dot txt, and I did this. Hello. Yeah. I'm having like some network problems. So let me start from. Mhm. So after running the link pins, so after running the link pins, when I go here, I files with interesting permissions. When I saw this, oh, I just ignored it because I was focusing on the red ones, the red, and I just ignored it. Oh, I was like, not what come out of this. So I just I went through, and I had nothing. So later I just said the yeah. So I did ls. So from here I did ls and I found suid. So I tried to output what was in the suid by cutting it, cut suid, and I had this binary. So I started by searching mount on GTFO beans. After searching mount, I only got sudo. Everyone knows sudo is not working. So sudo, sudo not found. I did chsh, nothing came. Pass wd, nothing came. And when I got to this, I was like, oh, if pass and mount and other ones, nothing came. The MAWK, I'll get nothing out of that. So when I search for that, mhm, when I searched for it, the binary came, and I said, okay, let me try. So I tried it. So I was looking for the SUID, and for this file, like this binary, is not for reading files. So like file to read, file to read. So just copy this. And I bought this. My quote root dot root / root dot txt. Then I came back to copy this. So this $sign LF, like L file. This means the L file we've assigned this to the L file. So for now, the L file represents root/root.txt. So let me try to hit enter. So I did this, and okay, I was in the error. Okay, let's try this. MAW cannot open root/root.txt. No such file directory. And I was like, no such file directory. That means the MAWK is hitting a certain point, but we are not, like, it's not finding the root/root.txt. So I started with skipping this. So I brought /root slash root.txt. And later I did this. So this dot was trying to skip, like if you skip the file we are within and also skip the next file. After that, it should access root and it should read the root.txt. So I just hit enter, and it brought out the flag for the root.txt. So this was how I was able to get the root flag by using the MAWK to read the root, because we weren't having access to the root, and we use the MAWK as the read file, and we were able to read what was in the root. So thank you very much. Any question?
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for your session today. And though we had problems here and there with some network issues, but hopefully we've been able to root this box today. And please, if any of you have any questions to ask Eternal pertaining to whatever he has done today, I know a couple of us have already left because we've lasted longer than we planned. Yes, and that has been because of some problem we couldn't avoid. If you have any questions, we could just either unmute ourselves and ask the question, or type it in the chat session so that I could read it out to Eternum to address it for us. Also, if you had any challenge following up and maybe you join in late or something of that sort, the session is being recorded, so you could just watch it later at your own pace too, and that's another option. Is there any questions that we need to address about the session? Maybe you've seen something he's doing that you want him to say that part again, or revisit that portion for you to understand properly, since it's like a learning period for us all. So, is there any question for us?
This is from this is chat work. Someone said I should also use the web collaborator. So I want to demonstrate that before ending the session.
Okay.
All right.
But who asked that question?
It is Jeffrey.
Okay. He's here. I was trying to make sure the person is available.
All right.
All right. But please be watching the time. When it hits exactly 9, you're supposed to end at 8, but it's now 8:40, so exactly 9 we had to release the participants in here.
All right.
Thank you.
So Jeff, we had the host header, password reset, poison through the host header. So at first we use the mgrok, and it's actually demonstrate how to use the web collaborator. So we just change this, right click, insert web collaborator, or you can just come to collaborator, copy, you have copy to clipboard, and just come and paste it there, and just hit send. And it's send for now. We just pull now. So we get a DNS request and an HTTP request. So we just focus on the HTTP request and request to collaborator. And you see, we have the password reset and the token. So when we get here, we just copy this. Let's come to the URL. And this. And that. Yes, it. Enter. And I reset the password. So that's how to use the mgrok and the web collaborator to get the reset link or the reset token. Jeff, are you there? Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Nam. I think Jeffrey has sent a thumbs up, so I think he's okay with your explanation now. Did you have any question? Any more questions to go with? If that's not the case, then we'll be ending our session here today. Mr. Clement, we'll be looking forward to you posting our recorded session for us so that we could have a look at that too. Thank you very much for joining our By Time Wednesday session, and we hope to see you next Wednesday here again for us to learn, share knowledge, and grow together. Thank you for joining us. And Etanam, thank you very much for taking up the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you too.
Mr. Jamin, welcome. I think I've seen you finally. Just join us. Thank you for joining us. All right. Have a nice evening. Probably.